last part of the miniature. Last two parts. Section 11. How hard it is to situate the values of being and non-being. And where is the root of silence? Is it a distinction of non-being or a domination of being? It is deep. But where is the root of its depth? In the universe where a source is about to be born are praying, or in the heart of a man who has suffered? And at what height of being should listening ears become aware? Being myself a philosopher of adjectives, I am caught up in the perplexing dialectics of deep and large, of the infinitely diminished that deepens, or the large that extends beyond all limits. In Claudel's L'Annonce faite à Marie, the dialogue between Verlaine and Mara reaches down to unplumbed depths, establishing in a few words the ontological link between invisible and inaudible. Verlaine, who is blind. I hear. Mara, what do you hear? Verlaine, things existing with me. Here the touch goes so deep that one would have to meditate at length upon a world that exists in depth by virtue of its sonority, a world the entire existence of which would be the existence of voices. This frail, ephemeral thing, a voice, can bear witness to the most forceful realities. In Claudel's dialogues, abundant proof of this would be easy to find. The voice assumes the certainties of a reality that unifies man and the world. But before speaking, one must listen. Claudel was a great listener. Section 12. We have just seen, united in grandeur of being, the transcendency of what is seen and what is heard. The following bit of daring, however, will serve as a simpler indication of this dual transcendency. I heard myself close my eyes, then open them. All solitary dreamers know that they hear differently when they close their eyes. And when we want to think hard, to listen to the inner voice or compose the tightly constructed key sentence that will express the very core of our thinking, is there one of us who hasn't his thumb and forefinger pressed firmly against his lids? The ear knows then that the eyes are closed. It knows that it is responsible for the being who is thinking and writing. Relaxation will come when the eyes are reopened. But who will tell us the daydreams of closed, half-closed, or even wide-open eyes? How much of the world must one retain in order to be accessible to transcendency? On page 247 of the above-mentioned book, written over a century ago by J.J. Murrell, we read, "With certain patients, merely to lower their eyelids, while still awake, suffices to produce visual hallucinations." Moreau quotes Bachelard, adding, "Lowering the eyelids does not produce visual hallucinations only, but auditory hallucinations as well." By associating the observations of these doctors of the old school with a gentle poet like Lois Masson, I provide myself with countless daydreams. What a fine ear this poet has, and what mastery in directing the play of the dream devices known to us as seeing and hearing, ultra-seeing and ultra-hearing, hearing oneself seeing. Another poet teaches us, if one may say this, to hear ourselves listen. Yet, listen well, not to my words, but to the tumult that rages in your body when you listen to yourself. Here René Dumas has seized upon a point of departure for a phenomenology of the verb to listen. The fact that I have made use of all the documents of fantasy and daydreams that like to play with words and the most ephemeral sort of impressions is another admission on my part of my intention of remaining in the domain of the superficial. I have only explored the thin layer of nascent images. No doubt the frailest, most inconsistent image can reveal profound vibrations. But to determine the metaphysics of all that transcends our perceptive life would require a different type of research, particularly if we were to describe how silence affects not only man's time and speech, but also his very being. It would fill a large volume. Fortunately, this volume exists. I recommend Max Picard's The World of Silence. Wonder if he's related. End of the section. We are on to intimate immensity next.